Remember the aliens were quote unquote. First of all, they said they exist, and then they said they had like technology, and then Mexico is like, "Yo, we actually have a body of an alien," and that shit just swept up under. They talked about it for like 2 days, and then
That
there
was
was
it.
no there was no in depth. They didn't even say anything else. Like
That's
they just
it.
said we had an alien. That's like you ain't gonna give us no more information. You
Nope.
just gonna say you got an alien.
Yep.
It's the Parlor with Harrison Myles.
Well, here we are again. I appreciate you joining us. I got a special one for you today. It's someone we haven't brought on yet, and I can't believe I haven't run into this guy in this city yet before, but I'm glad I have now. Ladies and gentlemen, I would love to introduce you to stand-up comedian here in Los Angeles, Steven Marcus Releford. Yeah!
Hey,
What's going on, man?
everything is good,
Dude.
Everything is good. How you doing?
Appreciate you coming out, man.
Of course. Thanks for the invite.
Man,
These damn headphones on.
yeah, do it.
Yes.
I saw your shit, and I was like, bro, we got to get this guy on here.
Thanks.
Yeah,
Thanks,
this guy's
yeah.
funny. You got to look him up. Steven Marcus Releford.
That's me.
Been doing it for a while.
Yeah,
Dude.
I've been doing it for a while.
Yeah, you're super comfortable on stage. I saw you. So tell us
you,
about
thank
that.
you.
How'd you get started and all that?
Thank you. So yeah, I got started in 2010. Though I think my story starts before that. Like, what gets people into anything that they
Okay,
get
yeah,
into,
fuck
right?
yeah, bro.
You know?
Tell me what get that shit
So
in. Yeah.
I feel like there's people are called. You know, you have a phone spiritually, and you're called to do things, and then even there's people in your environment that are there to remind you of those things. So
Okay.
even if you get off path, so all my life, I noticed that I had timing.
Mmm.
You know?
Yeah, oh, I know.
noticed that I had timing.
Oh, I
and
know.
it can go either way. You know, I'm not gonna sit here and tell you that I have the perfect timing, but I tell myself that.
Yeah.
You know, but though, because when it came to socially being in groups with people and finding my place in conversation or just in different areas socially, you know, however the pecking order is or however people want to
For sure.
commune and however the cookie crumbles, you know.
Yeah.
I've always noticed that, man, I got good timing. And a lot of time that timing was coupled with humor, you know. So
And other times it was coupled with.
I would say what's on the other side of humor is like sadness,
Okay.
you know,
Yeah.
crying,
Okay.
pain.
Okay.
Pain is a mother.
So you've caused pain with.
Oh, I've made people cry. I in elementary, I had to tell myself, man, Steven, you need to go on a joke diet. You need to stop joking on people. I was making boys, girls, teachers quit, resign, change class. And it wasn't like
I'm just surprised you had that self-control. Or that awareness to be like, oh, I'm being a dick to some people. I should chill. I didn't have that. I was just a dick to everybody when I was in elementary.
Well, you know, all it takes is like 2 to 3 people that you make cry or you injure them. And I have this one incident where I did it not in a humorous way. I did it maliciously.
Oh
know,
yeah,
and
we've all
that's
had
when-
little moments like
That's
that.
when I felt myself, oh, I need to shift. I'll tell you this story. I remember being in like the 4th grade, and after school, me and some friends were playing football. You know, we're probably wasn't even a full-on game. We're probably just playing catch and just running it back and forth or whatever. But a friend of mine like juked me and like shook me and like, you know, I fell or some shit, right?
Oh, man,
It
broke
was,
your
like,
ankles.
embarrassing, right?
Broke your
Twisted my
fucking ankles.
right? And in that embarrassment, I wanted to like get revenge, though it was like maliciously. So I was like, all right, I made it. You know, when you're playing games, you make up rules on the spot.
Oh,
know?
yeah. You
So-
made an
so I was
executive
like,
rule.
So now, since you got a touchdown, you got to run it back. You know, which
Okay.
wasn't
Oh, one of
part
those.
the rules, you know,
One of those.
right? And I only said that so I can tackle him.
Did he do it? Did he run it back?
He ran it back.
Oh, he ran it back. He listened.
I tackled him, and when I tackled him, in a way that he landed, He
Oh
broke
no!
his wrist.
I knew you were gonna say some shit. He broke something,
He broke his wrist.
and then you felt really good about that.
Oh my gosh, exactly, exactly. And ever since then, between the joking and just like what, because everything is energy. Everything is like
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
references and like wherever your mental pattern is at. So ever since then, I was like, oh man, I gotta curb this.
Well,
I
let me
can't
ask
be
you
doing
this.
This type of shit.
When you were doing shit like that, who were you doing it for? Were you doing it to show off, to be funny, or were you because I'll tell you why I was doing it. I was doing it for myself. Like I found jokes. I'll do jokes for myself that I'll later laugh with myself. I'll be like, yo, that was funny as fuck.
Yeah, I think it's both and. Definitely I think it starts with the self, though. I think when you start having an audience, and it can be just one other person or a classroom of people, it starts to feed into that even more so.
Oh, the energy
right?
plays a role. I fed off that shit
Right,
too. Oh yeah, I
right.
get
So
that.
people now look towards for you in those moments, like I was saying in the beginning, like having that timing. Over time, in those moments, people look for you to have something to say because even if it ain't your timing, they just looking for you because you always got something to say at some point,
And then they're like programmed, like, oh, Steven's gonna say something.
He's gonna say something, and that could be a way to put pressure on people in a way too, because it's like over time, people have a picture that's painted of you.
Yeah.
So the picture it's fixed. So whatever your actions are, people just know you as that. They can't see you changing or moving.
So how were you perceived? That being said, how were you perceived in high school?
I think I was perceived as like the kid who pretty much I was like the party kid and the kid that got along with pretty much everybody. And I was a jokester. Like,
Fuck
I
yeah.
was there to make fun of people, to laugh with people.
Fuck yeah.
I was probably like at least top 3 and not 3 when it came to clowning around and like having that timing.
Not number one though. Not number one though. That's humility, folks.
Well,
right there.
Really, to be honest, when it comes to the gift of all these gifts, I think that we all possess, it's not a matter of the gift being better than anyone else's. It's essentially just everyone has their moment to when you are truly in whatever you're doing within yourself, you have the ability to expand whatever there is to expand, and that's everybody has that ability. So I say that, humbly, or just really just understanding the art form is like, bro, at one point in time, everybody who does comedy and they're about it in a serious way is the funniest person on the planet.
Oh, for sure.
At some point in time,
Agreed.
whether it's a fraction, whether it's this moment, whether it's a second, if you have the gift that we all share, you inhabit being the most hilarious person on the planet at some point.
It'll break through. Yeah, it'll shine.
It will shine.
Yeah.
It will be there. And then you can get off stage, and then the next person goes up, and then that's their moment. To be the funniest person.
Following up on what you said, it's interesting you put it in the words you did earlier, because the bottom of my website says you don't have to be smarter than everybody. You just have to prioritize differently.
Ooh. Yeah.
And, if you got a passion for something, you're just going to, if you really do have that, you know what I mean? You're going to just forego everything else in your life and just hone in on that shit.
100%.
100%. And then if you do have it at that point, then it sharpens, then it gets better.
Right.
And then you become one of the best.
Right.
But then you're still you, and it just feels like, whoa, I'm just me. How is this like? Look where this is led to.
Right.
Because I followed my heart.
Yeah.
Follow your fucking heart.
Yeah. Follow your heart.
Seriously. But dude, yeah, that's some good shit though.
Thank you.
That is some good shit.
Thank you. No, that's like I said, I think we all have things to share.
Yeah.
And I think the problem that we have collectively is while we're probably in so much turmoil, because we're not sharing the gifts that we have. We are somewhat in a spiritual communal debt because we are not sharing what we've been brought here to do.
We're selfish.
To do.
We're greedy.
And I think we've been conditioned to be.
100%.
I don't think we are.
It's every man for himself.
Greedy. I don't think we are innately selfish, though. I think we cultivate a environment, unfortunately, that's so
It enables that. It enables that behavior in that program.
We have an unnatural environment. We have an inorganic environment.
Yeah.
So already you're at a disconnect between who you are and what is. You know?
Exactly.
You're at a disconnect because your environment is so plastic.
Oh, dude, I'm glad you're here, man.
Oh, thank you.
That's great.
I'm glad to be here, man. I'm glad to be sharing in this moment because.
Oh, that's awesome. I'm glad you think that way.
We're having this conversation.
Yeah, I'm glad you think that way, because we need that's the type of thought process that I would call progressive.
Last night I was out at an open mic talking to some comics, and one guy was mentioning how we are coming into like the downside of social media. Right. So after, 15, 20 years of like internet and social media age, he was saying that he feels that people are kind of getting over it. They're done with the scrolling. They're getting over like looking at their phone. They want to do something else. Right. So I asked him like, well, do you think that's going to revert us back to what was before social media? Or are we're going to participate in something that's worse?
We're going to find something new.
Right, something new.
Find something new to fuck our brains up with.
Right. And that's what he was saying. He was like, no, it's going to be much worse.
Oh, much worse. He's right.
One guy said, we're just going to be talking in memes, or emojis. And it's just like, we're going to have 12 emojis to choose from and yada, yada, yada. And I think I think this is the thing how I'm learning how like manifestation collectively, I'm putting a theory around how it works because I asked the question, well, have we lost our imagination? Because if all of our references are negative, do we have an ability to imagine something different? Because we haven't given any references of what could be. Even the future, we see the future as doomed because the present is so bad or the past has been so bad. So we can't imagine a future that's not ill because we're so stuck in the present or we're so stuck in the past of things being so negative. So it's like, man, maybe that's how things never really turn out the way we want them to be because even in the now moment, we don't believe that there's something else. We only believe what is possible. So we're like, well, damn, nah, in 2028, shit's going to be fucked up. In 2030, shit's going to be, in 2050, what they said about climate change and the fishes. And we're already projecting this negativity. And like, there's we're like constantly shaving any ability of hope and any faith that we have. We're just shaving it down as we move forward. And it's
luckily, I won't be around to see that because that would be a heartbreaking moment to see. Because, I think you're right. We're leading down a path similar to that. But I think we're also getting really lazy, and it's going to get worse, especially with this ChatGPT and all these things that will do things for you. Yeah. I saw something on YouTube recently where, like, this teacher was calling out all these students because they turned in this assignment that was just written by ChatGPT, all of them. And the guy's like, some of the students didn't even bother taking out the question they asked ChatGPT. They just, because they're high schoolers, they're fucking idiots. Yeah. And I know because I was one. Yeah. And so it's like, that's what scares me. Damn. Because even the writer and the whole writer thing, like I don't go near AI when it comes to writing because why would I? Why would I have better ideas than that dumbass thing?
That's so disgusting to do that. And I think it cheapens. It's all right. Well, it cheapens our form, and it cheapens the quality of it, and it removes.
It shaves our dimensions and our layers off. We become a single layered person, like a piece of paper. Right. That's us. Right. We only have one side you can see, two sides maybe, two dimensional.
Right.
Yikes! Yeah. Ooh, that's scary.
It is scary because moving into a more
that's a real
volatile age of convenience. That's where
NPCs are born. More NPCs.
Yeah.
More and more. And then all the protagonists will be gone.
Yeah, for sure. Damn.
All the people that can make a change.
Yeah, I think about a dark future to where I've maybe on my last leg or I've already passed, and the AI has gotten so ridiculous to where my legacy of children or grandchildren are now being arrested by an AI cop that looks like me. Somehow, maybe I needed money in 2015, so I did a Craigslist job that used my face for
Oh
some
my
AI
God. Your
AI
likeness.
recognition, and
They have your
took my
likeness.
likeness, and
Oh,
now,
fuck.
like in 100 years, LAPD just has these robot fucking cops, and they've just managed to use my face.
Dude, that sounds
And
like
it's
a
like,
real
you
future.
know, I was against all that shit.
That sounds like a real
But that's
future.
what they would do. They're like, oh, you were so against the police, we gonna use your ass.
Well, there's like better than deepfake now. It's like this better version of deepfake where they literally take a celebrity now and they can have them say and
Yeah,
do
I've seen it.
anything.
I've seen it. Yeah.
And they can have them say terrible things.
Mhm.
And they can ruin and deface that person.
Mhm.
Everything they've worked with, that scares the shit out of
Yeah,
me.
I've seen it. There's actually now I haven't watched it myself, but I'm sure people out there in the internet world have seen it. But there was a George Carlin special that was put out, an AI special that was put
I
out.
think I heard about that.
Yeah, and now the Carlin,
I didn't hear how it was though. What were the ratings on it?
you know, I heard it was actually people were like, well, I think it was pretty good. It sounded like some stuff that he would say, you know.
But was it like it wasn't a single recording of his? It was just all complete. Like what was it?
All new stuff. It was all new George Carlin stuff. As far
But it
as
was
I
his
know.
voice.
It was his voice.
But how did they know? Because every comic, you included, you understand this, has their own tone, dimension,
yeah.
flow.
Well,
How
that's
do they
the
match
thing.
that? That George Carlin is so unique to him.
Well, that's the thing. That's all it takes. All it takes is now we've taken all the hours of George Carlin that exist. The same that you were saying with the deepfake.
It's an algorithm,
It's
basically.
an algorithm.
Oh,
We've
fuck.
taken all the hours of George Carlin.
Oh, fuck.
So now we can mimic this to a
No.
level that's essentially almost perfect in any other light and make new content based off of the content and based off of today's time period. And it's disgusting. The Carlin family, they are now suing whoever put that out.
Oh,
but there was another one, I can't remember it right now, but there was another comedy special from someone who had passed that was going around like on an AI tip or something like that. I think that shit is strange. That shit is so fucked up. And we already got enough corny real life people.
Yeah.
We don't need fake people
Yeah.
making corny shit.
Yeah.
We already got enough real people making corny shit.
And it's so oversaturated, the market, with such subpar quality. Like,
oh my God.
the internet is definitely partially to blame. Like, everyone's got good phones now, so everyone thinks that because they have a quality picture, they think they have quality content.
The lines
you're
of-
sorely
the
mistaken.
lines have been blurred between
Oh my God.
what is art.
You know what I am happy about though, that I was very afraid of when I saw a direction being taken, and then it doesn't go that way anymore, and I'm very happy. I saw about a decade ago, social media influencers were becoming actors. And they were like actually being in movies, and then I guess Hollywood wised up, and they're like, they're not actors, and they started using real actors.
I think it's both. It's both because I'm seeing it again.
Really? You're seeing it again?
I'm seeing
Oh.
social media influencers in TV or in movies. The other day, I just seen this Hispanic influencer who's really funny online, but it's the same thing with comedy. He started doing comedy, and his comedy sucks. Now, his videos are funny, but his comedy sucks. And then I'm watching TV, and the same guy I'm talking about, he's a guest star in some HBO show. And I was just like,
Are we gonna say any names or no?
you know what? His name is like Duno. People would know him. The Mexicans would know him. The Hispanics would know him. But his name is like Duno something. But he's a funny dude online. Like, he makes funny clips. But I'm
within
seeing
the
him popping.
within the confines of a script and direction, he just doesn't bring it, huh?
Well, I think there's a level of like, all right, I'll just say this: every space has its almost the perfect capacity that's meant for that space, right? So with stand up, you have to meet that stage with a certain capacity. So even last night, I went to the improv with my friend Arthur, and the host comes from a TV hosting like sports background, you know. Though comedy, he was up there taking way too long. He wasn't being funny, and then he immediately goes to like sex stuff, which is hacky as fuck.
Yeah.
Everybody knows in their first 3 years of comedy, like you go to these sex jokes or these like shocking jokes just to feel like you want to polarize the crowd or like you're actually getting a response.
Well, that's why Amy Schumer's done, because she never graduated from vaginas and sex.
Man, talk about it. So that was the same thing that I seen last night, and it's like you don't fully know the capacity. So with acting, yeah, his clips are funny within this confine of the screen and doing social media stuff, but if you don't know the capacity of what you're there and how to perform, it's gonna come off either you looking like you're ahead of yourself or you're looking like you're missing a beat. You know?
Understand your lane.
Yeah. Understand your lane. I didn't
Understand your
It
lane.
took me so long to even want to get comfortable being on camera as an actor. Like I really had to deliberate with my friend who I respect as an actor and other people who I respect, because I was coming solely from stand-up to where I'm so passionate about stand-up. I didn't have that same passion for acting at the time to where I didn't want to disrespect it. I didn't want to disrespect myself, or I didn't want to disrespect the art form.
And I can respect that.
By playing with something.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So it took a minute for me to understand the capacity of acting on screen for me to walk into it, you know, in a welcoming way.
Yeah, well put.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's definitely a thing. You need to absolutely be very well versed in the lane you're choosing to take.
Yeah, 100%.
Fill up the entire space and then do it with, of course, your twist, keeping it uniquely to you.
100%.
Yeah.
100%.
And I think that's what a lot of problems people miss too. When they're like, oh, I want to be like Eddie Murphy. I want to be but like, you can aspire to be like these people, but like, don't be like them. Be you. Because you are what's important. They're them. You know, there's a guy on social media, he's famous for looking like Tom Cruise, but like that's his life. And it's just like
looking like Tom Cruise.
Right? And it's like that's his life. He's never like the 10-second dopamine videos are good that you scroll through, but that's about that's his career.
Yeah.
And you know, if that's what you love, that's what you love. But I feel like you're gonna grow out of something like that eventually.
Of course.
But it's also like what we were talking about earlier, off the podcast in the green room. You can't just do one thing. You got to be multifaceted nowadays. You have to be. So if you're passionate about one thing, you love stand-up comedy. That's why you kind of learned that realm, and then you felt comfortable in the acting, and then you moved over to that, and you're multifaceted. And you go on podcasts, and I don't know what else you do, but you seem like a smart guy who does it.
Yeah, I dabble with the writing as well.
There we go.
I dabble with the directing as well. Though, yeah, I think, and even now, even like sub shit is because even within stand-up, you can't just do stand-up anymore in a way where it's like, no, you have to be a marketer, a brand ambassador, social media.
You have to be an entrepreneur. You have to run your own business.
You have to know how to cut things up. You have to know how to edit. You have to know how to put things out that's tasteful. So you can't just focus on the craft in this one light.
That's right.
And I say like the system that the environment that we're in, they've made it in a way to where everything is fragmented. So everything is kind of like it's a fraction of what it was. So we have to put all these different pieces together to make one whole piece, because now people are looking for these other elements of us. We are now so enthralled with other people because our lives are not what they ought to be. We want to know what this person's eating, where they're taking pictures, where do they go, what type of music they listen to, what friends they have. Like, that's all social media is. It's just us to kind of spy and like look at our interest in a way that's collective. And I think it's kind of odd too, you know? So I think that's kind of what takes us and distracts us from sharing our gifts, working on our gifts, polishing our gifts, enjoying our gifts, being and gratitude with our gifts and learning even more things because we are so distracted from those things. And in that distraction, we get bottled up, and then we have jealousy or envy, and then now we're going to work and feeling distraught and dejected from our environment and
beaten down all day.
And now we just hate on the person across from us who is just taking one step towards what they want to do.
Oh, yeah.
Because no one knows all the answers. We all just trying to figure it out.
Everyone's just trying to figure it out.
Everyone. We condemn those who are following their heart, and following their passion.
You condemn them until they become someone who's liked and valued in culture, and then you like them.
And then they're up for the chopping block again, depending on which way it follows. If there's a bad story written about them, and then it can sway the public's opinion. That's why I think being on the ground level. What was the name of that pop? Passion over profit. Yeah,
my foundation, pop, passion over profit.
Yeah, being on the ground level of the passion and touching the people on the ground is so much more important than reaching for the external success of the industry or whatever you think is bigger than you, which is crazy to think something's bigger than you. But
if you stand for it, you stand for it. But following your heart is the most important thing. I want to shift something real quick. I feel like you got some fucking crazy. Either you got an experience with like a ghost or an alien. I feel like you got some shit you want to tell me.
Oh well, ghost. I was just something.
I shifted it. I know, crazy.
No, that's good. That's cool. Ghost is funny. I don't know about the aliens. I'm always wondering and curious about aliens.
Yeah,
myself.
Aren't we all?
But it's so funny. On the way here, I just seen a sign for a show about ghostwriting or something like that. And it was like, ghostwriting like never before. And I was like, I wonder what the show's about. Is it about someone ghostwriting? But immediately I thought about ghost, not like writing-wise. I thought about an actual ghost or like an entity or a spirit or something like that. So I can't say that I have any experiences that I felt that was really like a tangible ghostly experience or a spiritual experience like that.
However,
or alien. No,
that's it. That's it.
No, but I mean, yeah, I don't.
How about a near-death experience?
Oh yeah.
Give me a fucking wild story.
I've had a near-death experience, and I got plenty of wild stories. I had a near-death experience when I was about 5 or 6. I had just learned how to ride my bike with no
training wheels,
right? Though the bike was still kind of small, and I was small, but the bike was still kind of small to where if when you turn too quick and pedal at the same time, the pedal can hit the ground.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So I'm riding my bike, and it's probably been like, I don't know, maybe a couple of days of no training wheels. So I'm like really excited.
You're feeling invincible now.
Feeling it, right? And I'm visiting my girlfriend that lives next door to me. Now
you're 5?
I'm about 5'6". Now,
girlfriend.
This wasn't my girlfriend. This is just the first person that I kissed. It was like my first kiss, Cindy. She lived next door.
Very cute.
So I'm leaving, and as I'm riding, she lived in an apartment complex. And as I'm riding out of the complex, I make a left turn out, and a truck is coming in, like a big-ass truck is coming in. And as I make that turn, the pedal hits the ground.
I love how you're smiling as you're telling me the story.
Well, yeah, because as I hit the turn, the pedal hits the ground, and I slide up under the truck. And I essentially miss being hit. Like, I was like under the
fucking
truck.
Fast and Furious shit under the fucking truck. Damn.
Yeah, now that would have been crazy if I slid all the way through and then kept riding.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking right now.
I just was under the truck and I was just like, oh shit.
Oh shit.
And just me and my bike there, and the guy stopped, and I got from up under the truck, but I was like, damn, that could have been, disastrous.
Good night, nurse.
Yeah.
Wow. And what happened with Cindy? Did she watch this go down?
You know what? I don't even remember. I was just in such shock. I know my mom came out yelling and
fucking Cindy, bro.
Yes.
I bet you broke up with her after that.
I shortly moved to Texas.
You didn't even try to save me, man. What the fuck?
I know. Cindy, where you at, man?
For real.
Talk about this shit.
He almost died because of you.
Yeah, for real.
That's love.
That was love, man.
First love.
Yep. Yep.
Damn, you almost died for your first love when you were 5, dude.
5 years old. That's how I know this shit is real. No matter how old you are.
That's right.
The feelings are real.
That fucking real. You could be 5 and you're like, yo.
This is it.
That's crazy, bro. Well, I'm glad you're alive.
Thank you. Thank you. What about you? You got any near-death experiences?
Yeah, I got stupid stories. Actually, I got a ghost story for you.
Yeah. Let me hear it.
Well, growing up, I lived in South Florida,
Okay.
and the city I lived in was built on like an Indian reservation graveyard.
Okay. Damn.
So it's known to be
Scary.
a little haunted.
Of course.
It's known as Weston, Florida. Lived there for a little bit. And the house I lived in, there was always like weird creaks. And we're younger kids, so I remember I was always younger, so I always felt like a loom. There was always like a, it's hard to describe. There was always like a heavy something in the house. It was always like a heavy darkness almost in the house.
Yeah.
And especially in my parents' room. It was weird in my parents' room.
Yeah,
Weird.
yeah.
So, like, I used to freak out in the house and say all this shit, like, I can't go to sleep. I know there's shit in the house. My parents would deny it all day long. Until after we moved out of the house, and I was like 18 or 19 years old, they're like, yes, that house was haunted. They used to tell me there were entities in their closet.
Oh my
They used
God.
to say their bed would be made, and they would go to bed at the end of the day, and there'd be an imprint on my mom's side, and the covers were like folded over.
Oh my God.
My dad was getting dressed in his closet once, and he felt like this on his shoulder, and he thought it was my mom, and he's like, yeah, and she's like in the bathroom.
Yeah.
And then my dad, like, you know, there was some fucking crazy moments. They saw children running from the side of their corner of their eye. Yeah, there was some crazy shit.
That's what they say. They say, like, when you start to see things, or like if there's any entities around, you pick them up in your peripheral, but you never fully can see them. Like,
Well, there's also a theory about there's these other dimensional creatures called these shadow people, and they live in in this pocket of dimension that you can see only using your peripherals.
okay,
And so if you ever see shadows at your peripherals and you look and there's nothing there, then it's those shadow people coming in from that dimension, and you caught a glimpse of it.
yeah.
That's just what, I don't know.
Yeah,
because-
I felt like I had moments like that.
Yeah,
That's
for
almost
sure.
kind of similar to a quasi, not the same thing, but it's kind of similar to like the feeling you get with deja vu. You know?
Yeah,
like
yeah.
It's just something that goes
Dude,
off, and you're like,
deja vu
I've
is
been here
fucking
before.
crazy.
Yeah,
Deja vu is fucking crazy.
yeah.
How often do you get? I feel like I get it all the fucking time. Just like 3 days ago, I got it. When's the last time you got it?
I don't know. I
You
feel
don't
like-
remember when you get it. Like you just,
Yeah, I
it
feel like-
just leaves your mind.
I feel like, yeah. I feel like it happens like at least once.
Once a month
Once
at
a-
least, right?
Once a month for sure.
Yeah.
Up to at least maybe up to twice for sure. But yeah, once a month for sure. I have a moment that is like a repeating something that I've lived or experienced or I've thought about or something to where I'm like, oh, this is a visceral.
It's weird. They say it's like
Energy.
neurons firing in like weird directions that aren't supposed to fire in that direction that triggers that. In like the memory portion, the cerebral, I forgot what that was called. But I don't know, dude. I really think it has to do with our spirit or something. I just don't think it's the brain. I don't think it's fully the brain. I just feel like there's more to it.
I think there's more to it.
There's
too.
more to it.
I think
There's so much we
always-
don't know that
there's
like
always
scientists
more
are
to
like,
it.
oh, they explain things, but like they don't even know.
There's
Like,
always more to it. And
supposedly-
and I think they know. They just like, we don't need to explain this.
oh, that's actually
They know.
Yeah,
A lot of stuff they know that is withheld.
that's like some
Or
Rick Sanchez
when it comes
shit.
out, it gets snuffed out.
Mm.
Or yeah, it is like some Rick Sanchez.
Unless
it
a
is.
whistleblower comes around, and then they got to explain what's
And
up.
that's every so often. And even then, it's just like, I don't even know if we have the mental capacity now to hold on to something that would be constructive to us. Not like I'm not positive or hopeful, but it's like the news cycle changes so often, and the system of confusion is running at a 24/7 hour.
Yeah.
It's like people are so inundated with things to where even like when you brought up aliens a minute ago. Remember the aliens were, quote unquote, first of all, they said they exist, and then they said they had like technology, and then Mexico is like, yo, we actually have a body of an alien, and that shit just swept up under. They talked about it for like 2 days, and then there was no in-depth. They didn't even say anything else. Like they just said we had an alien. That's like, you ain't gonna give us no more information. Nope. You just gonna say you got an alien.
Yep.
You gonna say what the fuck is happening? How'd you get the alien? What the fuck is it doing here?
That's all we got for you.
That's all. Like
that's it.
And then we are so bogged down with trying to make $1 and feed our family.
And distractions.
So it's just a talking point at one point in our day. We laugh about it or something, and then we move on because there's something else popping up.
It's just something to talk about.
And then we have the war that's happening. We got 5, almost 6 different wars happening on different parts of the planet. And now we're talking about some of those things, and it's just like there's too many distractions, man, to like have a single focus of aha. How can we have an all collective aha moment to where we're all on the same page? That's one thing that people are always.
Not even if the entire planet was threatened and we were in danger as a whole, all in the same boat, I'm sure not even at that point we would join. We wouldn't even unite at that point.
I would like to think we would. I would like.
I would love to, bro.
I would like to see a world that shows that we can, because I honestly believe we're in heaven. We in Eden. We in, like, the way that we see life on the peripheral of our vision. And if everything is all one and energy cannot be destroyed nor created, so as above, so below, if all these things exist, then they're all in the same plane, just in the different dimensions. Like we're all inhabiting the same space. There's just different things. Like even where we're shooting this podcast, just in another dimension, there's something else that takes place that serves the people in that dimension or the life forms in that dimension, you know, to where we could be inhabiting a hospital for other beings, or we can be inhabiting some type of hut that's on the back of a turtle or some shit that we don't even see that's taking place because we're in this dimension here. So I believe, like, if we have the thought collectively, and if we want to see that we are living in a peaceful time, if we want to see that there's harmony between our environment and the people in that environment, I believe we can inhabit what is a heaven, what is a Eden, what is harmony. I believe that truly. So and it's unfortunately, like, I don't want it to come to like a dire moment to where
Steven,
we're worldly threatened like that.
Don't stop believing. I'm telling you, bro.
Oh man, that's all I got, man. And then, cause it's like, bro, you gonna die and you gonna end up back where you at now. You gonna die and you gonna realize
you come right back,
right back where you started.
Yeah, that's because you didn't learn. You didn't figure it out. But that's their journey, and then they do figure it out eventually. So you said a little minute ago, you said that you believe that we're on heaven. We're in heaven.
Oh yeah.
So there's other information that's said out there that this is actually hell.
Oh yeah.
And
I believe that too.
So you believe we're on heaven and hell at the same time?
Like what I mentioned about the conversation that I had with my friends and how the references going into the future were negative. I believe that we project our hell. Bro, how is this not hell?
Yeah.
We tell other people what to do.
Yeah.
We force each other to go to work for food.
Yep.
The food grows in the ground, but we kill other beings to eat.
So you do see it.
Of course I see the hell.
That's why I said, why I said, because you were like, oh, this is heaven. I'm like, well,
I see the hell, Harry. I see the hell.
Yeah.
But I also see the beauty. I see the light.
Yeah.
And I believe,
of course that's here, dude.
I believe there could be a time that we could exist in that is in harmony.
We do. It's just not on this plane. It's just not here, dude.
Bring that.
Come on,
we
bro.
can bring whatever's
There's a reason
on
we're
that
here.
plane.
There's a reason we're here. We're here to make the change, to influence, to inspire. Do what we do because we're needed, and then we go.
Yes, and I think part of that change and part of that inspiration.
This is such a small sliver of what our lives are, though. This physical
agree, I
area
agree.
it's basically just a dream.
I
When
agree.
it's
It
over,
is.
we're going to be like,
We're gonna
oh,
wake up like
that
we
was
just
just
playing a
like
game.
that. I'm
Yeah,
back
yeah, yeah.
home.
I agree.
You
I
know?
agree. I agree totally. Though I think part of that journey is to close the gap. I believe something has to click
Yeah.
to where
Yeah.
we are on the same page.
Dude, that'd
in
be
a cons-
awesome, wouldn't
in a
it?
constructive way, because
That would be heaven.
that would be heaven.
Yeah.
Because there's
Wow.
plenty of things. Because think about it. There's
Wow.
plenty of things that click, and we're all on the same page on a negative way.
Yeah.
All it takes is some type of disaster.
What a great
some
thought
type of-
process.
yeah, right.
That's
we
an
just
excellent-
we just had an earthquake like quasi like
3
a couple
days
of
ago.
days ago, right?
Yeah, I felt it, man.
If that shit got a little bit worse and started we would have all collectively been on the same page.
LA
in the
would have been
negative.
like,
right,
kumbaya, the whole fucking LA.
right,
Right on Skid Row, we would have done it.
right.
Damn, bro. I've never thought about that. That is so right. What a thought.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, there's plenty of negative things that attempt to get us off our square that move us in a collective way. But there's nothing positive that's pushing us to be standing on that square in a strong way, in a collective way. So that's it. I believe if one side of the coin exists, the other side of the coin can definitely exist too. You know.
I always say that. There's always another half. There's always two halves
Yeah.
to everything. And
Yeah.
if you understand that second half,
Yeah.
do I dare say you got the answers? But the answers are always they're here anyway.
No, they are. In you.
They literally
And like
are
you said,
inside your
there's-
mind.
Like you said, there's always a second half, because the answers to the question is just that, what I said.
But you need to ask the right question as well.
Question and answers is how you solve problems.
Exactly.
And just ask enough questions and the right questions.
And you have
Make
to
sure
ask.
you
Keep asking.
Keep asking.
Yeah, that's fucking right, dude.
Yeah.
Wow. I didn't think the podcast would take this direction, but I love it.
Oh yeah, I love it too. I'm always going in with no expectations. So
Me too.
I'm always happy to go in any direction.
Love it.
So I enjoy it. I'm having a great conversation with you.
I'm
man.
so
This is
pleased. I'm so pleased to find out that you're of this mindset. I love that. We're on the same. I love that.
Yeah.
You don't meet a lot of people, especially on an encounter like this, where it's just like you're like, boop, hello, buddy.
Yeah. Yeah. No,
That's cool.
Yeah. I take the same approach on stage. Comedy's funny, man. Like the whole trip of comedy, the past 14 years has just been me getting back to myself. Like the more you step on stage, the more you realize you just want to be authentically you. And you just learn so much more about yourself. It's so funny how they say it's like part of the hero's journey or whatever. But man, yeah, I'm the same on stage and off stage. I take all this stuff to my performance and my material. I look to craft new ways to bring some of this thought to forefront that's comedic. And now, like I was just telling you in the green room, like my comedy, as I'm releasing these 2 mixtapes, my comedy is taking a turn to where I'm looking to discuss other things that are, before I was talking about me, but now I'm like, I want to talk about y'all.
Hell yeah.
Because, like, we got to fix some of this shit out here, man.
I love that.
To the point where I'm putting comedy on the back burner.
That's solid
Like,
crowd work.
We
too.
going to get to the laughs, but we going to talk about some truth first.
Okay.
We going to laugh because this shit is, we going to find the funny.
Yeah.
But I'm not looking to be funny for funny's sake. Like, to be honest, there's enough funny shit out here. The line between funny and comedy is so blurred. So you can look at shit on TikTok and find shit that's funny. You can look at shit on Instagram, find shit that's comedy. So at this point, I'm like, I'm not even looking to pander in a way to make you laugh. I'm looking to hit you with some truths. And if you laugh,
you'll be more receptive to it too.
Right. You have to be receptive to it. But if you laugh as a side effect of the truth, then more power to it, and let's continue to heal in that way. But man, I'm not looking to sugarcoat nothing. I'm not looking to be funny or silly or goofy or in any way, because I don't think this is a time. We're not in a goofy era. This is not a silly era. This is not an era to be jokey. Like, we at a serious point in time right now to where it's like everything is depending on us being intentional, man. The water's fucked. The air is fucked. We still got cities and towns that don't have proper water, but we just had the Super Bowl the other day. We still have things that are not going on correctly, but we're still finding ways to celebrate. So I'm like, I don't want to be jokey. I'm going to get on stage and tell you what's up.
I think being intentional is very important. I think you're very right about that. But you don't want to let them know you're being too intentional, because that's when you might lose them.
And I think
use the funny to be intentional,
Yeah.
which is what we do here.
Yeah, I think I do.
You send that fucking
I
message right under there. Whoop! Check this out.
I think I do.
You didn't see that, Bill?
100%.
Yeah, but I know you got that already on lock.
Mm-hmm.
And bro, it's like sky's the limit from there.
Mm-hmm.
That's when you can start seeing the receptiveness and really a little bit of change, maybe. You know?
100%.
I have a quote that I recently made up. You either die in obscurity or live long enough to see yourself get canceled. I mean, at least for 2024.
Well, yeah, I mean, yes and no.
I made the quote for the
like,
movie I'm working on for Writer's Block.
I like it. I like it because on one part of me, I feel I definitely resonate with that, because it's like you're in obscurity most of the time because you've been doing something that's not the dominant narrative. Because
what a thought.
If you are doing something that's in a dominant narrative, you're going to be widely accepted. And sometimes very quickly you will be accepted. And almost the worse you are, the more likely you will be accepted, the faster you will be accepted. So if you are talented and you have a skill set and you have a vision that's not the dominant narrative, the more likely you're going to be in obscurity. And the moment that you do break through sheer work and gall,
and you become relevant.
You become relevant.
Yeah.
Is the moment to where I think it can go either two ways. Of course, the dominant narrative is always going to be against you. So they are willing to turn you to a villain. They are willing to cancel you. Though, if you have the street support, I think you're always on a bed of comfortability to where
that's interesting you brought that up.
Nothing will really too much fuck with the core.
Yeah.
Some of the outer things may fall to the wayside because of the powers that be, but when it comes to your core and it comes to people, supporting you in a way that's tangible, I think you can always have that because you've lived in such obscurity and you've developed in a way to where people know you, as opposed to not know you and then you just disappear. Like we've seen time and time again.
Yeah, I mean, it's really similar to now as opposed to before social media. If you were an actor or a musician or anybody that needed to break into the mainstream, you relied on these major studios and all these other people, and they would fuck with you, sometimes sexually harass you and dangle that shit in front of your face. But now, with the rise of social media, you look at Shane Gillis. That guy got canceled, and then through sheer through sheer determination of his own, he built a fan base on his own from a podcast and his stand-up routine going around. And he's back on this month or SNL. They're having him host it. It's like you don't need Hollywood to have your back anymore.
No, you don't.
You need the fucking fans.
You need the people.
That is what matters now. Social media, like, the people have won in that sense.
Yeah.
It's no longer up to Hollywood who's famous, who makes the money. Yeah. It's like they have a little bit of say, but it's up to the people now. They're running it.
It's up to the people.
They're the consumers.
Yeah.
How crazy. That just hit me recently. It just dawned on me recently. I was like, wow.
Well, it's two-parted. It's up to the people, though I think it's more on the artist.
You got to have the talent.
Responsibility on the artist.
And the hard work ethic, of course.
Exactly. You got to have
to create that longevity.
You got to have the vision.
Yeah.
And the wherewithal.
You'll fizzle out if not.
That's what I'm saying. You got to have the vision and the wherewithal to not fizzle out, because you can be tempted, you can be swayed, someone can knock you off your square, and you can have other people who are doing the hacky shit and the corny shit bypassing you, and that may fuck you up in a way to where you're like, damn, I don't know, maybe I should turn the corner and do some all right shit.
Having a good head on your shoulders, bro, is the fucking key.
That's what it
And
is.
a support group is pretty important too, because
Support
like
group. Yeah, having
bro,
a good head in the support group.
I
man.
feel like you just need that one person though, because
Yeah.
I for a while I just had that one person.
That's all it takes, man. You got one person that believes in you,
Yeah.
and letting you
Yeah.
know that they believe in
Yeah.
you and they're there for you.
Yeah.
That's all it takes to
Yeah.
get you back on your shit.
Mhm.
Cause you
Yeah.
just slipped a little bit.
Yeah.
If anything, you just forgot, and that's all it took was somebody just to remind you what's inside of you.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
That's super important. A lot of people they don't have that support group.
Oh yeah.
I didn't have it for a really long time either, and it's just like I wasted a lot of time for a little while.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
But
I get it.
if you can rise up and really again follow your heart, it's fucking over, dude.
Yeah. No,
You're gonna run it.
and you can.
Yeah, it's
You
fucking
most
great.
certainly can. You've been built for it. You know.
Yeah. So I don't know, bro. This feels like a good place to stop. Feels good, huh? What do you think,
This felt great. This felt amazing, man. Thank you for having me
bro?
on the motherfucking
Parlor.
Parlor.
The Parlor.
on the Parlor.
That's right, dude. You were great. We gotta have you back again for sure.
I will.
But for now, get the fuck out and don't let the door hit you on the way out.
Man, you know what? I'm about to break this motherfucker.